to get some gardening done, but I just wanted to do like a super quick walkthrough of the garden to just show where we're at and what has come up and kind of the quick progress that everything is going to be. Sort of a test run for the gardening season. So you can see here we need to like dig out the leaves and everything from here, but in the back there the lilies are starting to come up. This is an annual that dies back every year. This is the sad rose bush that I bought last year in memory of my mom that the rabbits ate. So I put the mesh on way too late. What I really wanted to show, because this is going to be a great transition here, is everything that we're going to do to this gardening area here. So as you can see, we've got the um, raised beds, the new 8 raised beds that we're doing. That's okay. Bill's over working with the water barrels over there. But we got those in the one other nice weekend of the year so far here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this garden bed out. It never does very well, and I just think that it'll be better to get that out of there. So we're gonna dig this out. We're gonna take that dirt, fill the rest of those, and then move the rest of it to the back if that's what it needs. Also, these 2 garden beds could probably use to be filled up a little bit. Anyways, we're gonna take that out. The plan is to take the trumpet vine, which is still dormant here, and we're going to move that to the back there, kind of closer to the fence. And then we're going to take out the blueberries and we're going to rotate them this way, and we're going to fill this area with a new blueberry cage. And then hopefully in front of that is so the strawberry bed used to be right here next to that raised garden bed. We're going to move the strawberry beds over here. So everything's really going to change a lot over here, and we're hoping for the best, right? Hopefully it doesn't kill the trumpet vine to move it, but I think they're kind of like weeds. I don't think that it'll die. But you can see all of these garden beds just turned out so beautiful. It's so exciting. Um, the forsythia, I don't know what to do with it. Um, I mean, it's obviously healthy and it's growing and everything, but it hasn't bloomed very well the last 2 years. So this is the extent of the blooms that I'm getting, which everybody else's that you see in town are like full yellow. And then, that's how a forsythia blooms, is the blooms come in first and then the leaves come in afterwards. But you can see that it's going to grow leaves, but the blooms didn't really come in. So I don't know if we need to do some more fertilizing or really like build up around the bottom there somehow. Anyways, that'll happen in due time. We got Bill over here ready to take this cattle panel down. We're gonna have some extra cattle panels that I think we're gonna use for tomato cages. We are gonna put this one back up over on like this garden bed, or maybe in between those two. I haven't really decided yet, but yeah, this is great to see all of this coming out. It is June 29th of 2025, and I think at the beginning of this video you probably saw early spring of how the garden looked, and I just want to kind of go through and do a quicker garden tour right now and show everything, and then later on I can do a little bit more detailed of a garden tour. I guess I'll start out apologizing with how loud the birds are. Hopefully it will not drown me out, but we've got crows and robins and wrens, and it's a very loud morning in the garden. We had a thunderstorm last night, so I think that's probably what's getting them all riled up. So to just kind of show over here how beautiful things are, this is the lily garden and how tall those are. About 5 feet tall, the tree lilies. They should be blooming anytime now. Same with even these just old-fashioned tiger lilies. Coming over here, this is the biggest change from last year to this year. You can see that we put in these 8 Vego, I don't know how to pronounce it, VEGO garden beds that are 32 inches tall, and they are exploding with growth, and I am absolutely loving them. One of the things that we did was in this walk area here, we had this trumpet vine, and we moved it, which was insane. It was crazy. The roots underground were this big, and they went so far we could hardly move any of them. So we did move it over here. It's a little sad, but it will come back. I hope. I need to trim back some of that dead branches now that we really know that those branches aren't going to come back at all, and it'll. I think it'll recover. If not, it is shooting up babies all over the place. You can see probably right here. This is a baby that came up, and all over in the garden here, there's little baby trumpet vines growing up. Right here is the potatoes buckets. Again, big storm knocked everything over last night, so hopefully those potatoes, I'm just going to let them be flopped over for now. And this is all weeds. It was supposed to be strawberries. Long story, the rabbit ate them, and it made me sad. I just want to kind of show all of this. I'll explain all the varieties in a different video, but for now, just showing the amazing growth in the garden. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this, and I'm really starting to harvest things, and it's already changing, and I always want to do these videos so that I can document what I grew. We've got the radishes have come out now. This was a big thing, radishes here, but I intentionally planted them kind of succession sowing with the zucchinis here. So you'll see that the zucchinis are going to fill in and probably take over this whole area of the garden. And then over here I have some little pots with micro dwarf tomatoes in them that I'm really excited to plant over where I'm going to pull out some brassicas over there too. But you know, we can just kind of walk through and look at it. We got an eggplant, and you know, the carrots are doing really, really well on both sides over here. And then the trellis is just gorgeous with the beans growing on it. So these are a bunch of different like sunset and scarlet runner beans, and then some black night beans on the other side. They're doing really well. We just rebuilt these little masonry bees house things. We had this old junky one that was falling apart, so I need to move those up into there and let those get nice and dry. And I think that'll be really nice in the future. So those should hold up for a while. Same with this one over here. We got another one. We love our pollinators, right? And then over here is just, this will hopefully be the cucumber trellis. They're down there kind of starting. They just got a later start because our spring was cool. And then the tomato wall. Again, I'm going to go through the varieties of all of this stuff in a different video, but here's the tomato wall. We have, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 tomatoes in the garden this year, which is a big cutback from what I normally grow, so that's really exciting. We've got beets down here. I'm thinking that we're going to be able to harvest beets pretty soon. You can see how big they're getting. These are like rainbow beets, so there's going to be yellow and red and all sorts of stuff. So I might get another succession of those in this year too. This was pak choi that went to seed, and that sucks, so I didn't get any, but I'm leaving a few of them for the pollinators. But I do think that today I'm going to pull those out and put some of those dwarf tomatoes in there. Got more peppers here, and this is kind of the real pepper bed over here. A lot of different brassicas. These are borage plants that are just for pollinators. They're blooming beautifully. You can see that I basically have my first tomato here. I think it's racing the ones down there, that they're at the top of the fence already. And you can see some of these that are in these buckets down here are really tall and beautiful, super healthy. I want to show this because this is really cool. It is purple graffiti cauliflower. So I should be getting some cauliflower. This one's the only one that's heading right now. These two on the sides are not yet, but I think that's perfect because then I'll be able to pick the one in the middle and give the others space to grow. The blueberry cage is all new this year also. We rebuilt it and we replanted that crow is being crazy. Sorry. We rebuilt it and replanted the blueberries in a straight line. They were kind of at an angle, and it just didn't work for the new layout of the garden. So we rebuilt this, and it's doing a good job of keeping the bunnies out. And you can see we are going to get some blueberries. They're not as crazy as they normally are. just because I think we traumatized them when we moved them, but that's okay. They'll make a comeback. Look at this! Isn't this gorgeous? I saw this flower the other day. This is a nasturtium flower that, and the red ones are beautiful too, but that is gorgeous. So I'm excited to see that come in. This garden, I think, is a good thing to show too. I love this garden, and every garden needs a chair, right? But this forsythia is out of control. It's enormous and it's crazy. And what I noticed is that it has a whole bunch of like new growth. If you look at this green stick right here, this one is a brand new stick that's coming from the ground, and there's a whole bunch of them. So I do think what we're going to do is we're going to cut it all back. We're going to cut anything off that isn't the green growth from the ground and just let it come back and kind of start over with it. It's just taking over that corner way too much. And that's fine. It's great that it's that healthy, but we just don't have the space for it. And then we can just kind of come through and do a walkthrough. You can see that one of my roses that I planted last year, I did not have the cage around it over the winter, and the rabbits ate it all the way to the ground, which really made me sad. But it is sort of recovering. Oh, weed. I gotta pick the weeds out of there, but you can see that it's sort of recovering, and we're getting some pretty roses off of it. So hopefully keeping it in the cage will help. The corn, it's almost the 4th of July, and it looks like it will be knee-high. This one is doing a little better than the other one over here, but not so terrible. This is the pink green stalk. I just kind of went with chaos gardening in here. I just put a bunch of different flowers in it, and it's been pretty so far, so hopefully it stays that way. Here's the trumpet vine. That is not what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be big and full and beautiful, and it's not, but it will be. This is a new rose that I bought this year. This is my first tea rose that I've ever grown, and it is blooming. Again, I just put the cage directly around it this time. There is a flower coming out of the cage, but to keep the rabbits out of it. Sorry, the sun came out, of course, to wash out the video, but that's okay. I'll try to get out my shadow out of the way. This is the other thing of corn. Again, I could probably take this cage off now. What I have problems with is, I think it's squirrels that jump up and eat the little sprouts, but that's okay. Over here, it's fun to show this because these are the castor beans. They're about a foot tall right now. You can see on the other end here, I have them on both ends of the gardens this year. This one's about maybe 2 feet tall and getting bigger over here. And then all of the beautiful stuff in the middle. These marigolds are so happy. We're getting a ton of rain this summer, probably 4 inches in the last week. So things are doing really, really well. I've got a dahlia right in the middle of both of these beds. Again, with the chaos gardening, I did kind of the chaos planting in all 3 of the green stalks this year just to see how they're gonna do. Oh, I should show this. Like, this stuff is really healthy, happy. We did have some dieback here. This all needs to be weeded out, and something needs to be replanted here because the rabbit ate the echinacea down to the ground. But here is some beautiful lilies growing here. They're just so pretty. I bought a few more. These are like the dwarf ones, so they don't, this is about knee high, and they don't get much taller than that, and I love that. I think it's really cute. We do have a little bit of rabbit damage on some of these, so I hope they had a tummy ache when they ate my beautiful lilies. These guys are gorgeous too. So I'm trying to make this video not super, super long. Anything from here over is just a jungle and will eventually need to be replanted, but for now, this is beautiful. I love those begonias. They're so gorgeous. Walk in under the tree over here, and here is the jungle. It needs to be taken care of, and it will eventually, but for right now, it is what it is. I bought a hibiscus. This is I grew a hibiscus about 15 years ago, and it lasted for a few years, and then it died because I didn't take very good care of it. So I'm hoping that this one will do a little bit better. But I'm really excited to see that bloom. Just got some elephant ears in that one back there. This one was a volunteer, well, no, not volunteer. It was an extra tomato plant that I lost the tag for. So it's going to be a surprise what it is. I kind of thought it was a cherry tomato, but looking at this bloom, that is a slicer. So might be a mortgage lifter or a Dr. Witchy's. It's hard to say. My favorite hosta back there is just so happy and so healthy this year. It's so lovely to see. When it was so, when we had the drought, the leaves were always so droopy, and so it's fun to see it in a non-drought year still just be so happy and healthy. That was my mom's hosta. This trellis is ended up with a volunteer tomato, and I planted like 4 different vining things in it because nothing's really doing well. So I'm hoping that the cup and saucer vine takes off on it. It's kind of starting to grow up that trellis. And then these are just the cannas that are just babies right now. This is a mess. It's just a mess back here. It's a jungle. It's beautiful, but it's still a mess. Some of this stuff took a hit because I decided to move the bird bath, or no, bird feeder back here for a little bit. And the bird feeder knocked over, and the squirrels just had a heyday, and you can see the damage. That's just from squirrels climbing around in there trying to get up into the bird feeder. So I moved the bird feeder again. Over here is the beans, and you can obviously see, first of all, that storm really kicked the crap out of them. But you can see that they're all starting to bloom, so it won't be long now that I will have, oh, look at this. This is just my favorite thing ever. Look at how cute it is. That is a little teeny tiny baby bean. In like a week, that'll be a full bean that I'll be able to eat. I did plant cucumbers here, but they're taking forever and they're just not very healthy. So I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I don't know if anything's going to grow up that trellis. In the back here, it's so beautiful. We've been doing a lot of work of cleaning things up, and it just looks gorgeous. The hydrangeas we trimmed back this year, and obviously that's the answer. We should always do that. You can see we finally moved the bird feeder back here where there's nothing that underneath of it that's going to get ruined by it. Over here I've got one of the memorial gardens. Obviously this whole back area is the memorial garden for everyone. This one was kind of my mom's. I've got the hops climbing up over. That's her wind chime. And then there are some morning glories along the back there. And I did plant a clematis. That's what's in that cage. It's done blooming now, but hopefully that will take off and be beautiful. That's mint that's growing in the back there, and it got really trampled down by the rain. So I'm not sure. I might trim it back and like let it kind of come back. It will. I've got watermelon in this pot. It's not taking off. It's already July. There's no way I'm getting any watermelon. And that's fine. But here's the little memorial gardens. We've got Weasel, Weasel, Val, and Tank. And their little placards. And then back here, we have the placard for Bill's parents, Carol and Daryl's. And the gardens are just looking beautiful back here. They're kind of chaotic gardening, but that's okay. We don't mind. At least they're filling in and looking nice. We've got the gladiolas coming up in the back. Hopefully those will bloom and be beautiful. Got the sky blowing here. And I got that up there. Hopefully that'll start blooming some more. It doesn't look very happy, but that's okay. I'm going to just try to show this without the mess. Again, don't ever trust what you see on the internet because there's a giant mess over here. But we've got we're working on that right now. You can see Bill is over there. We're actually going to take that table down, and we bought a little shed that's leaning up on that shed. So we're going to have a shed on a shed on a shed, but that's okay. Then all that flower pots and all that stuff is going to go in that shed, and I'm going to whittle it down to be a more reasonable amount of stuff. I'm dedicated. Cucamelons, the cucamelon trellis, they're really starting to take off. They finally made it to the top, so it won't be long now that we'll have cucamelons all over the place. And then over here, this is kind of a gardening fail this year, but that's okay. That happens. These begonias came from Fleet Farm, and they're terrible. They're just awful. I think Fleet Farm let them freeze, and yeah, they're just not growing very well. But live and learn. I'll spend the more money to get them at a better garden center next year. So And then just the bee balm and the hostas back here are always just beautiful. We need to kind of go through and weed. I'm going to show the belly button of the garden. Here's the compost area. We have all of this ready. All of these hold compost over the winter, and then we can cycle it over into, if it's not done yet, then it can come back into the two compost things, or it can be stored in here if it's finished and go out into the garden when spring rolls around. I think maybe just showing the patio is maybe the end of it. This is the hops trellis that's about 12 feet tall and gorgeous. I mean, it's just so filled in, and it's doing exactly what we wanted it to do. This shades this patio in this summer in the afternoons when the sun comes around over there. We've got the pond that needs to be cleaned, but that happens every year. Basically, we put the pond in, and then the cottonwood goes. And the forest fires actually just dropped a bunch of the days those came through. The water got really yucky and murky. So we just use this water. We put the stick pump in, and we use this water to water the garden, and then we start over. So it doesn't really get wasted. I did a little different stuff with some of the pots up here. Some of it I like, some of it I don't. We'll see if I do the same next year. I mean, these are stunning. They're turning out so beautiful. Same with up here. There's this beautiful, it's kind of like a salvia, but it's just kind of died back a little bit right now, which is totally fine. This is our berries crazy cherries on our patio. I always put cherry tomato on the patio and then a big slicer right next to the patio. So this is the mortgage lifter, and that's the berries crazy cherries. Got this gorgeous begonia. This is ugly, and I guess I'm just documenting that I don't like it, and I'm probably not going to do this again. I don't even know what this plant is. It usually has like little pink flowers on it, but then it just turns into like dead sticks when it's done blooming. I don't like things that look ugly after they bloom. I mean, it looks like it's, going to come back a little bit, but I don't know. It's just not a good plant to showcase on the corner of the patio. The shrimp plant, favorite plant. And then this green stalk is really kind of starting to fill in. And it's beautiful to see. It does seem like the pinks or dianthus are really good plants for in there. So, that's a great mental note that I love those plants. They're easy to grow, not a lot of maintenance. So I think that's great to find something that grows well in there. And then the little area that we have for our impatiens up here. We do this every year, and it ends up cute every time. And then just over here, we don't have the cushions out because it rained last night, but we've got the scented geraniums on the patio. So yeah, I think that's about it for the overall garden tour. Again, I'll get into more details about what I'm growing in the vegetable gardens, and we have a few plants over here on the picnic table. That's the staging area where everything gets put before it gets planted, and you can see that I have some really pretty lilies and things that and just a few extra annuals that need to go in and fill in the spaces over there, but we'll find great homes for all of this stuff. So thank you for watching, and happy gardening.